Robert, what's your deepest, darkest secret?
I never told anyone this, but...
What, you litter in the hallway?
No, what do you think I am?
Well then, what is it?
Like many people at the school, I actually speak other languages, including Spanish.
Well, I kinda also speak Spanish.
Habla español?
Ay, friend migo, yo no hablo español. Yo no comprendo tú.
I see that.
Relax, I'm just joking. I took Spanish 3 last semester. I just forgot about it.
Alright. Well, you know what is your hidden secret?
Well, similar to yours, I can speak Cantonese.
Well, next Monday is actually National Bilingual Day. How about this? For $5, neither of us will speak English for the rest of the show.
好啊，咁我哋開始咯喎。我係 Hayden。
Yo soy Robert, y bienvenidos al show 23.
隨住春假嘅來臨，我相信大家嘅工作量都會越嚟越大。如果係咁嘅話，記得3月30號去到圖書館舒緩壓力，同埋製造可愛嘅縫針書籤。
Hace un mes ocurrió una trágica balacera en la ciudad de Monterey Park. El presidente de los Estados Unidos, Joe Biden, viajó a Los Ángeles por primera vez desde octubre para discutir la violencia por consecuencia del uso indebido de las armas. Vamos a pasar con Tracy para que nos aprendamos más sobre la visita del presidente.
Last Tuesday, President Joe Biden visited the Monterey Park Boys and Girls Club to consult with members of the community who are still grieving from the Monterey Park shooting. He also discussed his efforts to combat gun violence in America. This was the president's first visit to the LA area since October 2022. Many streets were closed and barricaded earlier that day, and more than 200 people, mostly from Monterey Park and surrounding communities, waited eagerly for Biden's arrival. It was back on January 21st that a gunman opened fire at the Star Ballroom in Monterey Park during a Lunar New Year celebration. 11 people were killed and 9 others were wounded. President Biden delivered an emotional tribute to the victims of the Monterey Park shooting and spoke out, trying to relieve this grief.
Grieving is a really complicated process, and the shooting will be engraved in this community for generations to come. I think being there and hearing each and every name being called out was an extremely gut-wrenching experience, and it just put a really big emphasis on the really grave and violent nature of this nation.
During this event, President Biden announced an executive order increasing the number of background checks for all firearm purchases, expanding awareness of red flag laws, and improving federal coordination and mental health services for grief and trauma. Yet, even with this new action that was announced, Biden acknowledged that he is limited by using executive authority alone, and it will require congressional action to enact significant change.
It's just common sense. Check whether someone is a felon, domestic abuser, before they buy a gun.
I think they'll be somewhat effective. It's important to note that although we have some of the strongest gun laws here in California, it comes down to how we enforce these laws. And basically the executive order he signed gets the ball rolling on a stronger way to enforce things like background checks and red flag laws. So this is technically a step in the right direction, but there's still a lot that needs to be done so that we can honor the number of lives lost through action.
At the visit, many major government officials from the LA area, such as Judy Chu and Alex Padilla, spoke out about the Monterey Park shooting and gun reforms. The president's visit will greatly impact the future of gun violence prevention. Thank you for March for Our Lives for allowing us access into this event. This is Tracy, and back to the anchor's desk.
就喺上個禮拜，我哋嘅運動醫學隊喺第22屆加州高中運動醫學大賽小學校組別獲得總冠軍。呢一隊同學由上年12月以嚟不斷為呢次比賽準備，同時間亦都係今次 Arcadia 有史以嚟最佳嘅戰績。恭喜晒 Nathan Chang、Haniel Chuang、Kaya Chung、Roman Cicero、Ava Cody、Ravka Abraham、Navia Conan 同埋 Nicole May。
Cada año nuestra escuela tiene una exhibición de arte dedicada a resaltar el gran trabajo artístico de nuestros apaches. Para aprender más acerca de lo que acontece detrás de la escena de esta importante muestra, pasamos con Grace.
Salamat po, anchors. There are 15 different visual arts courses at Arcadia High School, and from March 28th to 30th during school hours, you can head to the NPR to see their work.
So every year we have an art show. This is our 5th annual, and so it's really awesome to see. And anyone who's ever gone is just kind of blown away, impressed by what we have here.
Art is my way of talking and expressing myself because personally I can't really form words.
Your art is so unique to you, and it's very personalized, so that's why.
I've been trying to help teachers such as Ms. Joziah and Ms. Bradley as much as I can with them, since again, you think it's just all the students, but no, the teachers are also putting in as much effort as we are into this.
They all have been working hard all year to make this event happen. On the last day from 4 to 6 p.m., a special reception will be held to grant awards to the artists.
We have awards for each course, but then we also have a Best in Show, and then we also have a Principal's Award that Ms. Dillman will give out.
Thank you to everyone who has worked so hard to make this happen. Don't forget, the exhibit will be open during school hours. You can go at lunch, or teachers can sign up to take their students through during class. This has been Grace McCloskey. Back to the anchors in the studio.
嗱，我唔知你哋啦，但我嘅所有個人物品上面都有一個鎖匙扣。如果你好似我咁樣咁中意佢哋嘅話，一定要訂購你自己嘅鎖匙扣去支持應用工程隊。掃描以下嘅二維碼，即可訂購預先設計或者自訂鎖匙扣。銷售將於3月26號結束，所以務必盡快下訂啊！
La semana pasada, el presidente de los Estados Unidos, Joe Biden, aprobó la propuesta del proyecto de petróleo más grande de las tierras federales, llamado Proyecto Willow. Con la oposición incrementando preocupaciones sobre el impacto ambiental del proyecto, pasamos con Rocco para información más detallada.
The Willow Project has the potential to create several new jobs for the economy, as well as opening up a new source of oil in our own backyard, Alaska. Due to the very nature of oil drilling, however, it does raise some concerns about the impact it might have on the local ecosystem. The Willow Project is an $8 billion oil development plan led by Alaska's largest crude oil producer, ConocoPhillips. Drilling down the northeast portion of the National Petroleum Reserve, Alaska, this project would currently be the largest proposed oil project on federal lands. ConocoPhillips proposes bold claims on their fact sheet, promising a total of $8 to $17 billion in new revenue. In addition, environmentalists have criticized Biden for doubling back on his campaign promise that he made in 2020.
Problem. And by the way, no more drilling on federal lands, period.
It's sort of frustrating and devastating, especially since the fact that the administration at hand, while he was campaigning, said, we're not going to start any new drilling projects on federal lands, but here he is starting a new drilling project on federal lands. And the harsh reality is that the long-term environmental impacts of this project will not ever be able to weigh the impact of, let's say, the new jobs it creates.
I think it's really up to, the policymakers, politicians, the president to come up with alternatives. What we need to think about in terms of the human impact and us trying to be empathetic towards them is what other alternative can we provide them beyond oil drilling, which is eventually going to hurt not just them, but all of us.
Projects such as this further emphasize our need to dedicate resources to more renewable sources of energy. This has been Rocco. Back to those lovely bi and trilingual gentlemen at the anchor's desk.
你想唔想幫 Link Crew 賺錢？如果係嘅話，就要喺下個禮拜五3月31號下午12點至4點出席85 Degree Bakery 嘅籌款活動。喺店內購物嘅時候出示以下連結嘅傳單，支持 Link Crew， 到時見你哋啦。Man, this isn't easy at all.
Ha, gotcha, we're live.
Oh no. Alright, I guess you won.
Hey, we can't just end it there this early. Double or nothing, each of us speak another language.
Nah, sorry to disappoint you, but I'm just bilingual. I can't speak another language.
Too bad. But I do know our sports team has been dominating the trash talks if you count that as a language.
Let's go to Heidi, our Mandarin expert for this week's sports.
好的，谢谢 Hayden。这周我们校队的发挥令我感到十分的自豪，我们再次赢下了许多场比赛。听说我们的排球队本周取得了优异的成绩，我迫不及待想要知道我们排球队这周的表现了。下面就交给 Jacob 为我们回顾他们这周的精彩发挥吧。
谢谢 Heidi. Our varsity boys completely dominated the court this past Wednesday against San Gabriel. With tons of highlights and plenty of action, I think it's time to get into their match.
Arcadia and San Gabriel traded points back and forth, with both teams not letting up. San Gabriel initially gained the lead, however Arcadia quickly came back. Both teams hit the net occasionally with their serves. However, our varsity boys eventually won the first set. Our boys continued this momentum throughout the game, only losing one of their sets. Our boys ended the game with a final score of 3-1. It was truly a wonderful game that our varsity boys played. I can't wait to see what they'll do next time, and make sure to support our team today as they play against Pasadena away. Anyways, 现在我们回到 Heidi。
谢谢 Jacob。经过一周的精彩表现，我们想亲自给予他们祝福，所以特意请到了排球队的几名队员来到我们演播室，问一些这周比赛有关的问题。他们分别是 David, Christopher and Caleb。 So David, how many hours do you guys put into practice each week?
So in a week with 2 games, we'll typically put in around 8 hours worth of practice.
Okay, Christopher, was it a tough game compared to other games you guys have played this season?
It definitely wasn't tough compared to someone like Burrows or CV, but it was mentally tough when we lost the 3rd set and our morale was kind of down after that.
Caleb, any exciting upcoming games we should look out for?
Next week, 3:30 on Wednesday, we play against Crescenta Valley at home.
Cool. And final question, any shoutouts for your teammates?
Shout out to Jesse and 16 others.
Cool. 最后恭喜我们学校所有的运动队，我们等不及观看你们接下来的比赛了。在我把话筒传给我们2位主持人之前，让我们回顾一下这周所有运动队的精彩成绩。星期一，男子高尔夫球队与 San Marino 队比赛，以201比208负于对手。我们的男子排球队与 Muir 比赛，以10比1获胜。周二，羽毛球队与 San Marino 队比赛，以19比2获胜。我们的游泳队与 South Pasadena 对战，男子队以108比58获胜，女子队以99比71获胜。最后在周四，羽毛球队对阵 South Pasadena 以16比5获胜。本周的体育播报到此就结束了，记得收看我们下周三的直播，男子排球队对阵 CV。现在我们把接下来的时间交给我们主持人吧。
Hey Robert, so you said you're multilingual, right? What other languages do you master?
Ich habe Deutschland verhasst du über die letzten 4 Jahre getan.
Let me guess. Is that German?
Ja.
Wow, that is so cool. It's pretty rare to know anyone who speaks German in Arcadia. Robert, let me tell you something. You definitely won this bet.
And well, speaking of bets, I bet you 100% will want to miss next week's April Fool's show. Get it?
Very funny. But I did hear that we have some crazy plans for next week. Anyways, check out our socials down below so you won't miss out on our upcoming shows and live streams.
This is Robert.
And Hayden.
See you all next week.